Hey, let's try this again. Uh, Lord mercy, yesterday was a bag of cats. I don't know what happened, but welcome to the lair again. We were scheduled to do a live show last night. My internet decided it wanted to take a nap, and I ended up starting an hour late. Everything was a train wreck. So I figured we'd try again today for those who missed it. We'll just keep doing it until we get it right. So thanks to Bjorn, who's on his way to work and dropping in. Good to see you. Our buddy Bill from Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures is enjoying some McDonald's this morning. So good to see both of y'all. So far, Bjorn, everything's working better than it did last night. I feel bad because I know everybody was planning to come and there was a lot of people in the chat, and then, you know, when I tried to get it going an hour later, everybody had scattered. So I'm still trying to figure out that right time frame to do the show when it works for people. Just getting back into the groove of doing things with the lair after a long hiatus. So we're just going to go through what I had planned for last night, And if you guys catch it on the replay, groovy. Like I said, please tell me in the comments what is a good time for everyone, and I'll try to reschedule for that for next week when we do our next show. Oh, yeah, it's a thing. I enjoyed trying to do the live stream stuff, but learning new software, trying to get everything to work the way it used to, but in a different way, has been a challenge. And of course, you know, problems with audio and trying to bring in guests. I'm still trying to get that figured out since I don't have StreamYard anymore. We'll figure it out. It's going to be a process. I just hope you guys are patient. Let's see. So we had some stuff for the docket. We'll just, like I said, we'll just kind of go back through and run with what we had and take a look at it again and just see what we can see. So let's start with finding my slides. There we are. So I'm going to try doing more man about town type footage. I'm not used to, you know, taking a camera out and doing stuff outside of the lair unless it's toy photography. People here are kind of in two camps. There's the, okay, you're a tourist, I get it, you want to take my picture, whatever. And then there's the, get your camera out of my face, I don't want to be on camera. So some people are very negative, even if you're not actually filming them, if you're just filming around them. They don't like it. So yeah, it's a challenge sometimes to know when and where I can take footage without aggravating my neighbors. So, but we're doing some walkabout stuff. I'll show that again for folks who are interested in, you know, a slice of life here in the Flores area. We've got a first look at one of the Soldiers of Fortune from the upcoming Fresh Monkey Fiction line from in association with Big Bad Workshop. The Big Chap from Alien has been re-released for a 40th anniversary figure. It's supposed to have some new updates. We'll take a look at that. John Carter is back in plastic form. We're going to take a look at what's being presented by Frazetta. And then I'm going to talk about my buddy Jonathan, promote some of his stuff that he's doing over on Etsy. We'll talk about some of his diorama making videos and the stuff that he's selling. If you guys are interested in some diorama stuff for your layers. And then Drinking and Thinking, where we'll talk about a interesting topic and hopefully get some feedback. So unfortunately, since I don't know where the audience is right now, that may not go so well because it really depends on what you guys think. But anyway, we'll roll with it. So getting on with it, I filmed my last package run. I had a pile of loot that I had released, and everything takes a while to get here. So I'll just kind of show you guys what it is for me to go and get packages here in my little town. Pretty much with Guatemala in general, everything happens in Guatemala City, which is the hub of commerce. I live about 10 hours by bus, depending on how fast you drive and how clear the roads are. So I'm nowhere near the capital. I'm in a little town that's way, way further away in the area of Petén. So it's harder to get stuff here just because it's a bit more remote. And we'll talk about it if you wish. So yeah, that is a thing. I'll just run the footage and show you guys what it's like around here and see what you think. Hey guys, you know what? I often forget I have a camera in my pocket. I'm so used to just using my professional camera when I'm doing toy photography.
But I'm out and about, and I'm out of the lair more often, so I figure it's probably better to do more man on the street kind of stuff, because I know you guys are curious about Guatemala, and I'll show you some of the rusticness of where I live. Let me flip the camera. This is where I pick up my packages. It's called Aeropaten, and so I get things dropped to a warehouse in Miami when I order things. And this is where I come to pick them up. They come into Guatemala City. As you can see, it's very rustic. This is typical of small town Guatemala. And yeah, so it comes into Guatemala City. Tariffs and customs are assessed, and then I pay everything here when I come and pick up my stuff. So I should have a box from Big Bad Toy Store waiting on me. And I'll show you what I got in a few minutes. So this is Aeropaten. If you're a Hot Wheels fan, you can definitely get some cool swag. This is stuff that they carry. They also carry a little bit of clothing, kind of a hodgepodge of stuff. Some slightly used, some new, and stuff they import from the States. They got some cool Mario stuff. They got some cool Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels are very popular for some reason. But yeah, so this is where I come to get my stuff. That's the whiff. That's our gal who brings in the stuff. And there is my big bad box. So, Ruby.
What's in the box?
Here we're on the more civilized side of town. This is Flores Airport area. That's the airport. Can't really see much of it, but we get flights in here from United States, Guatemala City, what have you. And this is something more recent here in the town that was just built. Flip back. You see, they love to put on the music. But we just got these in the last 2-3 months. They just built, we got a Starbucks, we got our first KFC, and we got a Wendy's down there on the end. So that's all new. We're getting highfalutin and fancy here in the area. So thought you guys might be curious to see a little bit of how we live here in the sticks.
So hopefully it gives you a little bit of an idea of life here in this area. So the area itself generally is called Flores, but really Flores is the island on the lake, which is about 15-20 minutes away from me. I live in a town called Santa Elena because it's a little cheaper. Everything on the island is very touristy and expensive because of that. But Flores is kind of an odd duck. It's not really a destination in and of itself. It's kind of a way station because we have an airport here. So people coming in from the United States, we usually get a flight to Guatemala City and then get a puddle jumper here to Flores. And then from Flores, they'll go to Tikal, which is one of the Maya ruins that's very popular with tourists. So there's a lot of hotels and coffee shops and bars and restaurants on the island. And that's where a lot of people stay. Right off of the island is where I live. Because property's cheaper, everything's cheaper because it's for locals and not tourists. So I bought a house here in Santa Elena, and the town right next door is called name just went right out of my head. But the town next door is where the bar is. Wow, having a senior moment. But there's two towns that are right next to each other. So San Benito, there it is. San Benito is where the bar is. There's more of a, local blue collar kind of area. So that's where we put the new bar location. And so I'll start trying to get better about taking footage when I'm out and about town. I'm not used to using the camera on the phone that way, but hopefully I'll get better at it as we go. But nice to see our buddy Boba Hicks. Boba Joe show was on earlier today. They were talking about some 90s Marvel hero cartoon stuff. It was kind of cool. So catch that on the replay if you didn't catch it this morning. Enjoying some Egg McMuffin. Nice. We'll talk about some of the Jada stuff. Those were in my pile of loot, as you saw in the little video clip there. Bill, thanks for dropping in. Sorry if I missed you there. Yeah, we're getting modern stuff here, which is kind of new. We've had a few joints here. We had a Pizza Hut. We had a McDonald's. But because it is a hub for travel, right across from the airport, they built a new shopping center. So we got Starbucks, KFC, Wendy's. There may be a couple of other things coming in. They're still doing construction there. A lot of new construction in the area. So hopefully that'll mean maybe a new opportunity for me to get a better shipping process. You saw the very humble place that I pick up my packages that come in from Guatemala City. It's literally a storefront in front of somebody's house back in the sticks. So it's humble, but it works. It just works very slow. And we're still dealing with all the terror of tariffs. Yeah, say that 5 times fast. Yeah, we got our Dawson doing his yogi stuff. I'm having fun with this one. I'm not picking up the whole line, but I wanted guys that I think fit with my beasties and baddies, my monsters, and other stuff. I figure a cool mystic yogi would definitely be somebody Monster Force might run into. And of course, Blanca. He's one of my favorite characters from Street Fighter. Just big, goofy guy that, shoots electricity. Why not? And he's, fun and colorful on the shelf. So I've got him. I got Fei Long because I like the Bruce Lee homage. And of course, you got to have Chung Li because she's got, the finest fighting badonkadonk and thighs in all of Street Fighter. Cammy's a close second, maybe. But there is all that. Cool. I did not know. Legend of Zelda turns 40 today. Somebody else had a 40th, was Aliens from 1979, and we're going to look at that here in just a second. But I have a Link character. He's not in reach right now, but yeah, fun stuff there. I always enjoyed the Zelda games. Goji, good morning, sir. We're as you can see, doing a do-over. Last night's show was kind of a train wreck because of internet problems, so just kind of going over stuff for folks who missed it the first time. Speaking of which, we'll switch over to the toy cam and hopefully not have a burnout. But we'll look first here, see what I got. Yeah, I just went over some of the highlights. So we've got the new 40th anniversary Ultimate Big Chap. I did not have this version of the original Alien from 79. I have the Aliens, plural, from the second movie. So I figured I'd give it a shot. NECA is kind of hit and miss with quality. This one is supposed to have some retooling, some new joints. We'll take a look and see how good that is. This was kind of neat. 1/12 vehicles are shelf queens that take up a lot of space. I have a couple of Vanguards I'm happy with. I wanted this because it's military accurate. It's really cool. It's better than what the Hasbro team put out, in my opinion. And it's a little pricey, but for what it is, I like it. We'll take a look at that if you guys want. And then, yeah, so let's try the toy cam, see if it's gonna work or if it's just gonna crash and burn. It's thinking about it. I'm gonna step over there and see if I can get it to wake up, because it doesn't seem to be wanting to turn on. Let me check the... Let's wake it up, see if that'll work. All right, give me a second, guys. I'll go over there and try it out. I'll have to step away from the mic, so turn the camera off and walk over there and see if I can turn it on, because it's just out of reach. All righty. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you see there, we got a few new goodies. I have one of the new Soldiers of Fortune that I got as a part of a giveaway from the Fresh Monkey, or I'm sorry, Big Bad Workshop live stream. And so it's not bad. Most of that line is going to be coming out soon. 2 out of the series are already available on the website. The rest of the series is coming shortly. I also picked up the con exclusive, and it's, you know, it's gimmicky, but I wanted the Invisible Man to be invisible, so we got that. Hey, good to see Travis. Good morning, sir. Action. So I got the whole Toy Leak gang here. That's nice. Good to see you guys. Scotty, haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, sir. So let me walk over there because it's a little out of reach. Let's see if I can reach it. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the toy cam and stuff together where I can do it all here from the mic. But let's see if I can swing the microphone over. Yeah, so I had the original Lieutenant Griffin, the eraser, and they had the Legion's Con exclusive translucent version available on the website, and it sold out in minutes. And I just happened to be able to snag it, so I'm happy for that. I did a little video about it earlier this week, so catch that if you want. It's on my channel. It's not bad, but because of the translucent plastic, the joints are super loose, so posing it is a challenge. You definitely need a stand, preferably a flight or action stand. The peg stand is not the best for these because the ankles are a bit loose, at least with these translucent figures. And the Banana Commando there, he's just fun. It's nothing you guys haven't already seen. It's the same body style basically as the Operation Monster Force soldiers, just in a different colorway. Does come with a little bit different stuff as far as accessories, but nothing major. A new harness. Again, talked about that on the video. It's worth a pickup if you're looking to do some customizing. He'll make a good search and rescue kind of guy with that bright yellow. Gojitron had mentioned he might make a good aim agent for your to fight your Avengers and Iron Man and whatnot. And you can see Big Chap there in the back. It comes with a version of the egg that is unique to the original movie. Has the tentacled base, which the further movies in the franchise didn't have. That's about the only difference with that. Comes with a face hugger and a chest burster. Typical NECA fare. I liked it. The articulation really doesn't seem to be that much upgraded. It's very similar to other NECA figures. But if you don't have one of these and you want something that's kind of in that 1/10, 1/12-ish scale, you can budget with 1/12, even though it's a little oversized because he's a monster. So definitely got something going there. Probably try to catch it on sale if you want. Paying full price on it, it's like if you're really needing it for your shelf, yeah, but You can probably catch it on discount, but that's about that. As far as Soldiers of Fortune, like I said, those are coming. Let me switch over here back to the camera. Mic over. Yeah, trying to do all this by myself is a challenge. I could definitely use an extra pair of hands. So, oh, we'll talk. I forgot about the vehicle. I'll bring that over here too. Yeah, the Eraser was cool. I hope they re-release him and he's not an exclusive later for guys who couldn't get a hold of it. Yeah, he is certainly a yellow figure, very bright. He definitely has hit me in the face vibes with that get-up. I call him the Banana Commando. So it's an interesting color choice. I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, I did a video talking about what came in the box. That's on the channel. These are in stock right now. If you haven't already seen these, Chatsworth just released. He's in my pile of loot right now, so I'll get him hopefully sometime in the next few weeks. And the two agents are available. So the guy in the light blue uniform, or sorry, suit, and then the black tuxedo agent. Those are available. The rest of the line is coming, and if you ordered the all-in, you got to wait because, you know, still waiting on the rest of the figures to ship. So that's that. But yeah, kind of interesting stuff. Let me clean off the webcam here, or the toy cam. I'll bring in the vehicle so you guys can take a look at that if you are interested, which I think you might be. So I'll put on the Be Right Back screen and switch some stuff over since it's kind of out of reach. Alrighty then. Yeah, so here is the new vehicle. It's a dune buggy. It's got some good detailing. It's got some lights, but I don't have batteries that fit it. It's an odd size. But I put a couple of different figures in here that I think will kind of show off what you can do with this thing. Let's see if I can reach. Yeah. So I've got a standard size guy in here with Sidewinder guy. They fit really well. And then Atlas is an oversized character, but he still fits. The seats are adjustable back and forth, so you can kind of get it where you want it. You've got some stowage areas on the side, which is really cool. Rubber tires. You've got steering linkage, and it's got a differential. So everything is really well detailed. You've got really cool detail on the back for the engine, which I'll try to get on camera there. Yeah. So all the fun bells and whistles. It's more expensive than a Vanguard, and it only seats 2 or 3 because you do have an optional third gunner seat you can add to it that comes with it. I'm still debating how I want to kit this out. It comes with stickers and all that doodad stuff. I might paint some detail on it, you know, maybe do a little bit of weathering. I don't know. I'm debating how I want to use it. I really wanted the OD green just because I want to do an adventure team in 1/12 scale. I figured this would be a good vehicle for going out in the field and hunting some cryptids. So that's kind of my thought with that. There are a couple more flavors of this coming. There's a red and black one that is in association with the acid rain stuff. So that's going to be coming, and it has a little bit more details on it. There's an all black one that is going to be releasing later this year. Same body style, but with a few different accessories and weapon mounts and all that kind of good stuff. But if you like this dune buggy fast attack kind of style, I think it's worth a pickup. Definitely try to get it if you can on a sale. It's not crazy expensive, but like anything 1/12, vehicles are spendy. So the Vanguard's definitely a better deal, and it's a 4-seater, but it doesn't fit every type of photography type of thing you want to do. If you want to do something more retro, this or, you know, a more classic Jeep or Humvee might be more conducive. So it just gives some variety for what you can do with your toy photography. It's just fun. I'll probably keep it as a 2-seater just because I like just having a, you know, basic vehicle for guys to go out and do their adventuring with. But we'll see. You'll see it pop up in some of my toy photography, and we'll see what we do with it. So I'm still deciding how I'm going to customize it. So that's that. Okay. Yeah, and then we saw the Banana Commando. Again, nothing special, nothing to write home about. Has a new harness system. Again, talk about it a little bit in the video. It's okay. He does have some potential if you wanted to do something reminiscent of the old adventure team. You know, it's not uncommon for Joe to wear a bright yellow flight suit or, you know, adventure style gear when he's doing search and rescue kind of stuff or what have you. So maybe that's what they were thinking with this one. I hope they'll do these in more, you know, camo or, you know, more military covert type colors, you know, some browns and greens. We'll see what happens with that. But the first wave, it looks interesting. I'm looking forward to getting all of them. I was happy to get this. It was a freebie. It was a giveaway. So I'll definitely make use of him somewhere. He's got some fun colors. It'd definitely be fun for doing some toy photography. And again, Big Chap is Big Chap. It's a good representation. It's typical NECA articulation. It's not the best, but it's not terrible. So it works for what it is. I thought it was worth picking up. John Carter is something else new that we're seeing, and that's something we'll be seeing hopefully in the near future. Frazetta's been doing some fun stuff. So let's take a look at their offerings, and then we'll talk a little bit about John Carter himself for people who may not be terribly familiar with the character. Big Bad just recently listed this, and I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So let's take a look at the sculpt. Very reminiscent of some of the Frazetta art and or Boris Viejo, who did some paintings of John Carter. I like it. It definitely fits the way the character's been portrayed in comic books and book covers and whatnot. Very, very classic styling. The weaponry's kind of cool. I like the helmet and his alien dog buddy, whose name I can't remember, but he does feature in the stories of Barsoom. Looks like you have a couple of different head sculpt options from the way he's been portrayed in different comics and whatnot. It's a good offering. It's a bit spendy. This one is coming in at $84.99 right now on Big Bad, but you know, it's a shorter run. They are definitely competing with folks like Mythic Legions. These are scaled to go with Mythic Legions, so they're a bit taller. I'd say they're closer to 7-inch 1/10 scale than true 1/12, but that seems to be the trend with fantasy stuff. If that's what you're into, it's not a bad idea. if you're looking for something that's maybe a little more cost effective, they do have another offering that is in the Motu style. He's a 5.5-inch figure. Not as articulated, but he'll definitely fit in if you're a Motu fan. It looks like that's what they're gearing it towards. Still good face sculpt, cool stuff. If you like that Motu style, this is not a bad alternative. So definitely something to consider. Excuse me. Yeah, I like it. It's got his Civil War era revolver, which is kind of a nice nod. And apparently they're going to be doing some other stuff like this, including a Conan and what looks to be a Death Dealer. So if you want stuff to mix with your Motu, definitely a better price point. These are $40 and really well detailed. So 2 different flavors that could work with your collections. So something to consider. Let's see what we got going on. Yeah, Scotty, Motu style. I think that's a good choice. Not my cup of tea, but a lot of people do like that. Yeah, I don't think John Carter would do well with the Terminators of Mars. But, you know, stranger things have happened in the comics, at least. Yeah, the yellow guy definitely gave me Adventure Team vibes when I saw that. So maybe we'll see that. We'll see what I customize it to be, depending on what pieces, parts I can find to go with it. But yeah, that's about it. Good to see you too, Travis. Again, trying to get the channel back up and running after a hiatus to get the bar started. It's a slow, painful process getting things back up and running. We've had a couple of kerfuffles with internet and such, but that goes with the territory. But thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Yeah, for those who don't know much about John Carter, let me get back to the slides. We'll just talk about him real briefly. I want to cover him more in detail with a Retro Nuevo, so we'll do a deeper dive. But this is just kind of a first blush from the guy who brought you Tarzan. Barsoom is a series of novels by Edgar Rice Burroughs, and this was his reimagined idea for what the world of Mars would be. The first story was published in 1912 in a pulp magazine, later collected and retitled A Princess of Mars and put out as a novel. And it follows a Civil War era soldier, John Carter, who is transported to Mars, meets up with some different interesting characters, including a very lovely princess named Deja Thoris, hence A Princess of Mars, the title of the story. There are 11 novels in total, plus countless retellings in comic books, and a couple of films that were kind of hit or miss, including, I think, a sci-fi special. But we'll talk about it more in detail. I really got into him more from the comic book stuff. I remember he was kind of a backfill feature in the Tarzan and Tarzan Family comic books of the 70s. And then Marvel got the license and started doing it later. Their run was pretty good. And then the most recent Dynamite comics, I think, has been really good. Great art, really good storytelling. Goes back and is a little more faithful to the original story beats. So if you're unfamiliar, I'd say probably the Dynamite comics is a good place to start. Much easier than trying to read the original novels because they're definitely written in a different prose style. It's an acquired taste. Doesn't flow the way a modern novel would. It's almost written more like a diary. So that is a thing. But John Carter is one of the early prototypes for sci-fi and science fantasy. Many characters were inspired by him. Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Superman to an extent, Adam Strange, Dune, Star Wars definitely, and even Avatar. I ran across a piece from, what's his name? Cameron, James Cameron. and he talked about he was definitely thinking John Carter and what would it be like to put a soldier on an alien world when he was writing his Avatar stuff. So he's definitely been an inspiration for many of the stories you know and love, even though you may not know John Carter himself. So again, we'll talk about him more in detail in future Retro Nuevo episodes. We're going to be doing the Shadow. We'll probably do the Phantom Lady next, and then John Carter will be on the list. So just to let you know, it's yeah, that's kind of my thing. I enjoy. I like looking at older or obscure characters and shedding a little light on their backstory. So hopefully that'll be something that you guys will enjoy here in the near future. I also wanted to shine a light on the stuff that my buddy Jonathan, aka Random Diorama, has been doing over on his YouTube channel and on his Etsy page. He has a series of kits for you to enhance your diorama making, as well as full-out dioramas that he builds. So thought we would take a look real quick at some of his stuff. If you're not familiar, Jonathan's been doing some YouTube videos for many years where he does Friday night, late night craft and chill. We lovingly call him Radnom, thanks to our buddy Ed of Toylete. But it's a fun show. It's very chill. It's just Jonathan with the camera showing as he's building his stuff, talking about different techniques. Definitely worth checking out. I highly recommend it. And again, let me see if I can pull up his stuff here. Yeah, there we go. We'll take a look at his Etsy page so you can see what he has for offer right now. As you can see, he does really great work. It's more of a passion project for him. He enjoys painting. He's not as much a toy collector as he is a diorama builder, just for fun. He likes doing that kind of stuff, and he's good at it. These are some of the more recent things that he's put on offer. Some of it 1/18 scale, some of it 1/12, some of it that can work in either. These I thought were a really cool concept that he just started recently. He's 3D printing consoles, switches, and gauges that you can use with any of your diorama building. So if you're making your own diorama and you just need some gadgetry and you don't want to try to figure it out, you can pick these up and just add them to your existing diorama stuff. You've got different keyboards and monitors and bells and whistles kind of thing. It's a cool concept. I like it. It's cost effective and much easier than trying to carve these kinds of things yourself. He 3D prints these in color. You can paint them if you want, but they don't really need it. As you can see, they're pretty cool as is, and definitely add some detail to your diorama stuff. These are really cool too. He did a whole series starting with a catwalk and did some computer consoles to go with it. This is an add-on piece that he did that gives you a wraparound type console. You can see a Delta 17 soldier there. So it definitely scales really well. And one neat feature that I like with these that he did is he made the main console where you have a slide-in area. You can print out or draw whatever you want to appear on the monitor and just slide it in. So you can switch out what the display has going. If you don't like the red-black scheme, these are paintable and they hold paint really well. So you could style them for whatever you want. I kind of like the red theme. It kind of reminds me of some of the techie bits from the original Death Star and the original Star Wars movie. So I don't know if that was the vibe he was going for, but that's kind of what I see with it. But in addition to the computer console here, as I said, he does have the catwalk. Let's see if I can pull that up. There it is. Yeah, so it's kind of a tower catwalk thing. Again, this is 1/18 scale, goes really well with Delta 17, as you can see. Comes as a kit that's 3D printed. and then you can easily assemble. Very reasonably priced, you know, so you've got the tower there. And the catwalks, this set here, which is walkway, stairs, couple of barrels, and some computer consoles. So you could pick them up a piece at a time and assemble a shelf display that's really cool. All of this stuff works well together. It's obviously meant to be done together. So you can do it pieces, parts, or you could buy the whole set, however you want to do it. They're just kind of neat. So I want to make people aware if they're looking for some alternative stuff. He's also got a command chair that I think is kind of cool. It's a little bit different styling, but it's again in that same flavor and definitely works well. He also has a 1/12 scale version of this, I believe, that he's offering. Yeah, there it is. So if you want it for 1/12 scale, he also has sci-fi walls, other types of computer stuff. These are probably the most popular, especially a lot of people doing Monster Force, looking for, you know, dungeon and castle type settings. This is his dungeon basement diorama. It's 2 walls and a floor with magnets. It's DTOF sized, so if you're looking to put it in a DTOF, it'll fit. Really highly done detail. 3D printed ring for the doorknob piece there. Comes with a couple barrels and crates kind of stuff. I think it's a pretty good deal for handcrafted. See, he's got a lot of detail painted in there, and very fun for just any kind of toy photography you want to do, or you just want a cool display, something to accentuate the shelf. This is one that I would recommend, and it's been one of his most popular sellers. So I'm not the only one who thinks that's cool. He has started putting out some of the Helidope crates. He did a smaller or different type of crate a while back on the Helidope site. Helidope is kind of reorganizing right now, so he's been doing these weapons crates, which are a little bit different style, and he's selling them on his Etsy. These were done with his laser cutter, and they're very cool. As you can tell, they've got the Helidope logo there. Again, these can also be painted if you wish, or you can just leave them in the wood tone, and they're cool. These are more of your 1/12 scale. So just to let you know what's out there. These are something he's experimented with, and they turned out really well. Windows. Anyone who's tried doing foam core knows doing windows can be a real challenge. You could try dollhouse windows. That doesn't always work. It's a lot of pain. So he came up with this 3D print that's actually translucent. Uses a colored translucent print. As you can see, I think it's a very cool effect. So you have the frame that you can plug into your foam core wall that you're building, and then the windows just snap into that. So it's a very cool effect. It can give you some really cool details. So he's innovating and looking for ways to help you do it yourself, create your own type of setup, and just give you some pieces, parts that will help you to give a nice finish to your piece. But if you want him to just build you something, he can do that too. This is one of his starter type pieces. Just a cool backdrop that'll easily fit on a shelf, gives some flavor, really enhances your toy photography for pretty much any kind of figure. So I like the colors on this one. It pops, and it might be a good entry point if you just want to see what it's like to have some of this kind of stuff on your shelf. So that's definitely one to look at as well. So feel free to check it out yourself. The link is in the description on this video for his Etsy page. He's got a lot of different pieces here. Some he will do on, he'll do batches and have them ready. Others he'll make on demand. If you want it, you put in an order and then he'll make it up really quick, send it out. So definitely check that out. If you want to see some of his other goodies, we can check out his Instagram. This is a street scene that he's worked on. I really love, and you can see just great texture, great use of color. You know, you've got the sidewalk piece, the whole shebang. You can see scale pretty well. Let me pop over one back and here. Yeah, so he's got a little Mario there in the doorway. These are 1/12 scale as well. Really cool stuff. He's also got some videos here showing his techniques for construction, which is similar to what he does on his Friday night shows. And yeah, it can be kind of zen to watch him work, get some ideas. He shows you the inside baseball of assembling and making these things work. So definitely worth a watch, I think. But yeah, that is Random Diorama. Definitely check his stuff out. Like I say, he also does a Friday night show, Craft and Chill. Definitely worth a watch. Catch him on replay if you want. He does run kind of late night, but yeah, it's a thing. So enjoy. That is most of what I had for last night's show that I'm doing today. The only other piece is the drinking and thinking section. I was really looking to do with some audience engagement, but there's, you know, not many guys here. Again, our timing is kind of screwed up, but I'm just going to roll through it and catch it on the replay. Please comment. I'm curious what you guys think about this. So my thoughts for discussion for last night that we'll talk about today is intellectual property and the shenanigans around it. This kind of came about due to their latest red-haired shenanigans. Some of you may know Laser Pants pointed this out recently, among others. Mythic Legions has been working on a special character for their convention exclusive this year. It is a warrior-type woman, this legendary figure. And one of the highlights was she was going to come with a couple of red-headed options, variants. Now, when I looked at this figure, I don't see Red Sonja, but obviously somebody else did, because on one of their social media locations, they just started getting spammed. People were spamming about the fact that there's an official licensed version by Boss Fight Studio, which I think is a crap figure, by the way. Just the quality of the figure is not good. The one that came out from Executive Replicas is a better figure for Red Sonja, in my opinion. But anyway, somebody got butthurt. They didn't like the idea that Mythic Legions was going to do a character that could possibly be considered Red Sonja-ish. So it just kind of got the noodle going of what exactly is the line between homage and copyright infringement, because I don't think this is copyright infringement at all. It's similar, but you know, Red Sonja is not the only redhead in the fantasy universe. She just happens to be one of the most celebrated. But they're not going to offer this redhead anymore. They're just going to come with the blonde and brunette. Maybe the redhead version will be something you can get later. I don't know. But for whatever reason, they just decided they don't want to have any entanglements with angry intellectual property owners. So it's a thing. I bring this up because it's something that came up a while back, and it's still in the corners of the neckbeard chats and stuff. People are still pissed that Valiverse took the name Action Force and then bought the rights to Steel Brigade. They're his. It's not copyright infringement because he has the copyright. Hasbro decided to drop the ball. They didn't renew the copyrights for Action Force or Steel Brigade. Vala saw it and bought the rights and then remade them in his own series. So it is a thing. But, you know, again, it was a controversy for a minute. people just didn't know what to think about it. And then with the Desert Rat figure, again, it's an homage. Different character. Desert Rat was not a particular character that anybody owned a copyright to. It was a nickname for soldiers from World War II in I think it was the African campaign. So obviously it's a callback to what was done with Palitoy, but it was the way to do an homage without doing anything shady. Unlike some other companies, one that has definitely been under scrutiny by some collectors is Fresh Monkey Fiction. They revived Eagle Force, which is good on them. The line that Mego put out, and it was short-lived. They brought it back in 1/18 scale. They kind of breathed new life into that IP and then branched out. But some of their things they've branched out into include areas that definitely skirt copyright infringement, in my opinion. Obviously not enough for them to have any legal matters, but it's a fine line, you know? So I'm curious what you guys think about that. You know, I've got mixed feelings about it. So I'm going to take a short break here to grab another tasty beverage, and then we'll come back and see what the chat has to say. Alrighty. Not much of a drinking and thinking without something to drink. But it's too early for libations, so we're doing an energy drink today. Because Lord knows I need some energy. So where were we? Let's see what the chat's got going. See, Scotty saying, yeah, no one's ever made a character that's similar to something else. I mean, Man Thing, Swamp Thing. That's a good one we can get into. On our Beasties and Baddies, Gojitron and I were working on a video, which we may do in the future, talking about the comparisons between those two swamp characters, because they definitely have a lot of crossover, just like Deathstroke and Deadpool also have some cross continuity kind of stuff going. And yeah, Xena's another example. You can't say Hercules or Conan or any of those guys are direct infringements on any particular copyright in, intellectual property. Things can be inspired by one another. They can have similarities. Indiana Jones was definitely a composite of other adventure characters that came before him. He was inspired, but he is a separate entity kind of thing. A lot of ways to go and look at stuff. So I remember Major Matt Mason. That was kind of a cool, I think Mattel did that. Astronaut series. I'd love to see a modern interpretation of that. I liked those toys. I had a couple as a kid that I inherited. Unfortunately, the quality of the construction was kind of rough. I think they had like bendy pieces, so they look cool, but they were fragile and they have not survived well. So it'd be great to see a re-release. Koji says, they said creators should try to be as original as possible when creating new characters. Oh, that said, creators should be. Yeah, I agree. Nostalgia, member berries, all that is definitely profitable, but it's a bit tiresome at this point. They've tried retreading and getting every penny wrung out of IPs like Star Wars and Transformers. Lord knows how many different ways they've done that. And of course, there's a lot of third-party knockoffs of those popular characters. Some blatant ripoffs. If you want a Transformer that is a knockoff that is either more articulated or different done, someone in China will give it to you. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff in the toy industry. Bobby Valla did a video not long ago talking about the dangers of those kinds of things, as far as how it can be an issue for legitimate, copyright holders to be injured from that. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking more about homage characters, things that are inspired by, similar to, but not a direct copy like some of those knockoffs that we've seen. So some of it skirts the line, I think, some closer than others. There's definitely some examples that I see. And again, I go back to Fresh Monkey Fiction. Their Gorgills for their Monster Force in the 118 line, definitely an homage to the Palatoy Kraken. You can see from the design, it is very, 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 very similar, to the point where it's definitely skirts the line. But this one, I think, is even more egregious. Super Joe was a short-lived Hasbro line that took over after the Adventure Team Joes started waning in popularity. It was a smaller scale, didn't sell well, only lasted about a year, but he's beloved by some collectors. So they folded this into their Eagle Force offshoot and call him Joe Brody. And you can see the similarities in the costuming. It's obviously an homage, but this is where I'm kind of at that point of, it's cool that somebody's doing it because Hasbro has just ignored this thing that they own. And, I'm with Scotty. I loved Super Joe. I thought it was cool. It was almost Mego scale. I had a lot of Mego stuff as a kid. It would have been great if they scaled it directly with Mego, but they didn't. It was kind of off from that. But it was cool. Excuse me. But yeah, it's cool that somebody is doing this, because if you want these types of characters or something similar, and the actual IP holders are just sitting on it, there's a ton of stuff that Hasbro bought the rights to or originally created, and they just stick in a vault and let it collect dust. So I get the reason why other companies will do similar type characters, because people want them. I'd love to have a Super Joe on my shelf. There is another company that is doing a Super Joe that's more, well, they had to change the name of what they're calling it because of intellectual property issues. I think Gojitron has one of these. They're more of the 8 to 9 inch figures, and they're not bad. Goji says, I'm okay with people doing homages to public domain characters or dead IP. Yeah, there's a lot of Golden Age stuff we've seen. Something that's currently popular is a slippery slope. Agreed. And that's kind of where we are with it. Yes, thank you, Scotty. It was White Elephant Toys that did the Super Joe homage characters. And I like them. They're cool. I don't collect them just because I don't really have a spot for that scale, but I definitely looked at them. But yeah, it's a thing. It's Adventure Command is their new name for them, and I like the fact that they have a atomic Mike, type cyborg. They have the Joe. They have the green clone evil version as well, whose name escapes me at the moment. But yeah, they kind of did what was missing from the market, and it's not a current IP. You could call it a dead IP because obviously Hasbro doesn't care about it anymore. So maybe that's okay. Scotty says I've been collecting every Adventure Command / Astro Command Super Joe. Cool. So yeah, I know they've started doing some kind of adventure sets with those. I haven't really kept up with it because I've been kind of out of the loop the last few months with the bar. But yeah, Darkon. Yes, the green baddie. I have an official Hasbro one of that in the 1/12 scale that they did for the Collectors Club a few years ago. And he's cool. But I don't have Super Joe, unfortunately. Shield, yes, Luminos was kind of interesting. I definitely would love to see another take on Bullet Man. We've seen a couple of different companies do homages to Bullet Man or custom Bullet Man stuff, but kind of hit or miss. But again, an intellectual property that's kind of ambiguous. He was a Golden Age character. I don't know if the original Bullet Man is public domain or not. He's also been done by DC Comics. They folded him into with some of their other Golden Age hero stuff. Not sure who actually owns that. It might be something to look into because he's an interesting character. But another one that I think was kind of egregious was this one. He's obviously a $6 Million Man homage. He's blonde, so he's completely different, right? No, he's still a former astronaut turned cyborg. But this is a character that Fresh Monkey folded into their offshoot line, Agents of Impossible, I believe they're calling them. And it's obvious who it's supposed to be an homage to, but it's different enough not to get them in trouble. That seems to be the theme with Fresh Monkey. Their upcoming Crimson Moon stuff looks very cool, but is definitely very controversial. It's very, 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 very similar to Palatoy's Red Shadows, and it's obviously meant to be so. They've made some changes, some head swaps, so that it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty darn close. So it's a thing that it's going to be controversial with some people who are hardcore Palatoy fans. Of course, Palatoy is no longer, and Hasbro doesn't seem to give any concerns towards bringing back any of the stuff from that original line. There have been a couple of things with Red Shadows in the G.I. Joe comics, but it's just cameo appearances. This new Wolfbane character is a definite skirting the edge kind of thing. When Red Jackal was introduced in the Palatoy Red Shadows, he was basically a port over of Destro from G.I. Joe. And so he was recolored. So you can see here they've done an interesting take on this where they've created a new character who definitely is an homage to the Red Jackal character, and included the robotic type head, so he has robot minions instead of it being a direct Destro ripoff. But you can see where they're going with this. Is it a problem? Is it an infringement? Or is it just clever marketing? You decide. I think it's it's an interesting idea. I like it. Nobody else has really touched this except maybe a couple of people in the 1/18 scale who've done some like Black Major stuff. So maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. Scotty says Bionic 6 was almost the Steve Austin and Jamie family. I didn't know that. that's definitely another one that interesting cartoon. It would have been really cool if they'd been able to continue the story of Colonel Austin and Jamie Summers. I think that would have been neat, especially if they'd had bionic kids. Some of the movie spin-offs that they did, I think they talked about some of their kids becoming bionic or something. It's been a long time since I've seen those. But yeah, $6 Million Man was definitely one of my favorite shows as a kid, especially the Bigfoot stuff. I've got the Andre the Giant Bigfoot here. And yeah, those were fun, cheesy fun. So I don't know, guys. Again, intellectual property is one of those things that it can definitely get sticky. Again, Fresh Monkey, Agents of Omega, it's obviously an homage to the old Adventure Team stuff. The whole packaging of it, you know, the military operative, the monster accessory, in this case a giant snake, very similar to the type of G.I. Joe sets we got in the 70s, and it's a callback. I like it. I ordered it because it's in my wheelhouse. I would love to have an official Hasbro Adventure Team in 1/12 scale, but they're not going to do it. For whatever reason, they don't want it. So good on Fresh Monkey Fiction for creating something that is similar, that scratches that itch. Hopefully it doesn't get them into any hot water in the future, but who knows? It is a thing. But ultimately, I want to know, what do you think? As collectors, should we care about IP infringement? Is it something that we should be thinking about when we're making our decisions for what we put in our collections? There's a lot of stuff we want, and, you know, maybe not buying a knockoff is good because it protects the rights of somebody who's created an original work. On the other hand, if it's a, you know, like Goji had said, if it's a dead property and nobody's doing it and somebody does an homage, is that okay? I definitely have some stuff in my collection that would fit that category. Goji says most of the toy homages are filling in gaps that the corporations won't. I agree. I love my Adventure Team figures and my Mark II Roboskull. Roboskull's another one I hadn't thought about, but yeah, Roboskull, the recreation of that, and they got the blessing of Bob Breakin. You know, they talked to the original designer and had him involved in their Mark II project. So good on them for that. For that matter, Bob Breakin has publicly stated, I think on Tony's Analog Toy Show, that he's very happy to see Valaverse take Action Force in a new direction. He definitely considers it a spiritual continuation of the work he and his team did at Palatoy. So it's not always a bad thing when somebody takes a property that other people have ignored or neglected and breathe new life into it, or look at taking it in different directions. When it's a blatant rip-off, knockoff copy, that's where it's problematic. And I don't see that with Valaverse. I don't quite see that with Fresh Monkey, but they sure come close sometimes. Their stuff is very cheeky monkeys at Fresh Monkey. So that is a thing. But that, I believe, guys, is all I have for today. Again, apologies for the show last night being a dumpster fire. My internet crashed out. I had everything set to go. Had a nice morning, came and checked everything, got my stuff all set up, was groovy, and then about 2:33 in the afternoon, the internet just said, nope, not gonna work. So I'm tinkering with the router, I'm checking all the connections. It's like, it's not on my end. It was something with my service provider, and I'll talk to him Monday about what happened. Because with our new fiber optic setup, that's not supposed to happen. But technology, thy name is aggravation. So again, I'm just trying to get back into the swing of doing live shows. I want to start bringing in guests, but without StreamYard, it's tricky. While StreamYard definitely made it a lot easier to incorporate guests and other stuff, it's insanely expensive now, and I can't justify it for a channel that is not monetized. So I'm looking at Video Ninja. I'm looking at a company called Restream that does some stuff. I'm trying to figure out an option so that I can bring guests in and do shows like I used to. So I'm still tinkering. I'll let you know when I come up with something that is functional. Scotty says, they didn't perfect the internet there yet. No, unfortunately not. We just got fiber optic maybe a year ago. Before that, it was still using the old, mini satellite dish kind of thing, and the internet was terrible. So it's better than it used to be. Obviously, you can see signal quality is much better than my earlier shows, but whew, it's been rough. So yeah, I'm guessing, I think you're in the Florida area. No, Myrtle Beach. Yeah. Some of their stuff there is still behind times. I'm surprised. I really thought that would be more up to date, but yeah, it could be a real challenge. They're happy to take our money with these internet service providers, but they're not always happy to give us the best coverage, as you guys have probably run into. But for those of us who are hobbyists and enthusiasts of this kind of social media, it's sometimes a train wreck. But we'll just keep plugging at it until we get it right. So again, let me know possibly what time frame fits best with you guys. I don't know if you guys want a late night show, morning show. I don't know where I fit in anymore, because there's so many different options out there. Everybody's doing a show. I just want to know if you guys are interested in the kind of stuff I do. Let me know in the comments what time frame, what day and time you think is going to work best for this kind of show that I do, and we'll try to work that out. So Scotty says, yeah, they don't have fiber optic there. Yeah, I thought you were in the Myrtle Beach area from some of your videos. I love when you do, the beach stuff on your shorts and stuff. Those are cool. I'm trying to get better about doing, taking pictures when I'm out and about. Honestly, I do. I forget I have a camera on my phone in my pocket, because I have a Nikon camera that I use for toy photography, but I don't carry it everywhere because it's big. It's a camera. I forget I have a really good camera on my phone. So I'm going to try to remember that more when I'm out and take some footage here and there. So, but yeah, it's a thing. I'll try to put together a show again for next week. I don't know if we'll do it again for Friday night or if we'll try another time frame. So just keep an eye out. I'll put something up, and we'll get in where we fit in. We'll figure it out. So thanks again for those of you who showed up. Apologies to those who showed up for the Friday night show and we were an hour late because of the internet. We will connect with each other one way or another, by hook or by crook. So have a good weekend. And again, let me know in the comments what you guys are interested in for future episodes. I will see you guys in the near future.